We didn't set out to make liquor the hard way. Vieroma started with a question that sounded simple but it wasn't. What would it look like if we actually respected the ingredient, the plant? Not the flavor, the ingredient itself. For cacao, that question changes everything. Because real cacao doesn't come from a factory. It comes from remote parts of the Peruvian jungle, where farming is still done by hand and time moves differently. We source the finest specialty-grade cacao farm by farm directly from those communities. The farmers we work with don't operate on volume. They operate on seasons, on weather, on fermentation and drying that can't be rushed and can take weeks longer than planned. From fruit development to harvest to finished fermented cacao seeds, the process takes months, not days. And every step depends on people, not machines, making judgment calls based on experience. Getting cacao out of those regions isn't simple. It involves getting on canoes, dirt roads, river crossings, terrain that changes with the rain. There are stretches where transport requires planning, coordination, and security because the route itself becomes part of the risk. We have one of the most difficult supply chains. There are easier ways to do this. You can buy extract, you can buy powder, you can engineer cacao flavor in a lab and call it craft. Most brands do. We didn't. And that choice carries through everything, including when we don't act. When you start with real cacao and give it time, you don't need fillers, masking agents, or artificial shortcuts to make it taste like something it isn't. There's nothing to cover up and nothing to correct. Because once you start fixing flavor with additives, you've already abandoned the ingredient. Choosing to stay close to the source meant accepting slower growth, lower margins, and more uncertainty in exchange for something harder to explain but impossible to fake. Vieroma is one of the hardest liquors to make. When you support Vieroma, you're supporting the farmers and local communities who make this possible. The ones doing it by hand, the right way, in a place most brands will never go. Vieroma is hard to make because we refuse shortcuts. Vieroma is hard to get because it depends on time, terrain, and people. And it's the only one worth having because nothing real comes easy.